We're going to a new phase in this entire process, expanding the capacity of the healthcare system for a state is virtually impossible. Building a hospital is a very elaborate, extensive, expensive undertaking. Again, we need the federal government to play its role. Deploy the Army Corps of Engineers to come work with states to build temporary medical facilities. Get us backup beds. So when the hospital is overwhelmed, we can have some of the people who are in the hospital beds go to a backup medical facility. Assume the federal government doesn't do what the federal government is supposed to do. The state has to mobilize to create backup medical facilities. And that is what we are going to do. We're going to organize the National Guard, work with the building unions, and work with private developers to find existing facilities that could most easily be adapted to medical facilities. Meaning what? Meaning dormitories, meaning former nursing homes, facilities that have that basic configuration that could be retrofit. Even that is not easy because you have the construction element and you also have the equipment element. It is very, very hard to get medical equipment now because everybody on the globe is trying to buy the same medical equipment. That's why I go back again to the capacity of the federal government, which operates and maintains a medical emergency stock where they have stocked medical equipment for domestic issues or for wartime. But in any event, we're going to do the best we can. I need, first and foremost, to find available facilities that can be converted. We need the communities that are most effective to begin finding available beds. New York City, we estimate conservatively, we at this point should identify 5,000 additional beds, Nassau 1,000 additional beds, Suffolk 1,000 additional beds, Westchester 2,000 additional beds. We will do everything we can, but we need federal assets and we need federal assistance. DOH is going to be suspending its regulations to allow existing hospitals to increase their space and capacity. DOH has regulations about how many beds per room, how much space between beds, etc., how wide a hallway has to be. Those are going to be suspended so hospitals can actually use their physical space with more efficiency. We're leaving it up to the hospitals for their discretion and prudence in making these decisions. The non-critical elective surgery may be canceled on a mandatory basis. We will need that capacity in the hospitals when those numbers peak. We're up to 7,000 tests, so it's a dramatic increase, 1,600 new tests. So the number of new cases has gone up 221 to 950 cases. Our deaths have increased to 7. Hospitalizations, 158 out of 950. That's 17% of the cases. It's one set of rules for the entire state. And it should be one set of rules for the entire nation. And that is the role of the federal government and national leadership. And it is lacking. The federal government should put one position in place and coordinate it with the states. I just did a call with Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey and Governor Ned Lamont of Connecticut, and we are adopting the same policies. So there is no benefit to try to shop New York versus Connecticut versus New Jersey. There will be no more gatherings of 50-plus people. All casinos will be closed effective 8 p.m. tonight, and they will stay closed until further notice. And hopefully I can coordinate with the other governors so we can have the same opening period, just the way we had the same closing period. Gyms are closed effective 8 p.m. tonight. Theaters closing at 8 o'clock tonight until further notice. Any bar or restaurant closes at 8 o'clock tonight. The state liquor authority is going to change its rules. They'll have guidance up by 5 p.m. this evening that will allow bars, restaurants, distilleries to sell their products off premises. So whatever you could order in the bar or restaurant or distillery or winery, you can purchase through takeout. And we hope that goes a long way towards alleviating any economic hardship. We will only allow it during this period of closure. We're going to waive all park fees in all state parks, local parks, county parks. So you want to get out of the house? Great. Go to the park. The weather's changing. Take a walk. Enjoy your family. And do it in an environment that is not a dense environment, which is exactly what the parks provide. Other actions, all local governments must reduce their workforce by 50% minimum. Work from home, which is the same thing I'm asking private businesses. Second, I'm directing local governments to make sure that all their local police departments and emergency management services are supplied with masks, surgical masks. New York City, Nassau, Suffolk, Westchester, and Rockland must have child care, educational services, and meal programs in place by midnight. You're closing schools. Don't close all the schools. Leave a couple of schools open or parts of schools open to provide child care for the essential personnel. We also have to have meal programs and meal services in place and educational services in place. On that condition, I ordered the schools closed. We strongly advise that only services and businesses that are essential stay open after 8 p.m. Grocery stores, gas stations, pharmacies, medical facilities. And it's not mandatory at this time. And it may be in the future, but it is strongly advised at this time. We have had a phenomenal increase in testing. By the end of this week, we think we're going to be up to about 7,000 tests per day. We started a drive-through testing facility in New Rochelle, Westchester, where we have one of the highest clusters. It's one of the first in the United States. I believe actually the first on the eastern seaboard. It has worked very well. We said we were going to open one on Long Island after the positive New Rochelle experience. We're also going to open one on Staten Island.